G'day, guys. Welcome back to Stat Chat Sports. We are here, me and BT. We are down a member, unfortunately. As mentioned previously, we did have a member journeying off to Europe for a little bit, so he has begun his journey off. It's just us two, but we're here and we're delivering.
Yeah, he's going to be missed, but I think it's well deserved for him. He does a lot of work for us, so he runs the show really. He sends us the run sheets every week, and so well deserved break for Josh.
He definitely does the bulk of the work, so we'll do our best to shoulder the load while he's away. But we are here for our round seven review. A lot of big games this week. We will start with our hits and miss as usual. Where are we going with a hit? Because there's a few sides I think we could possibly talk about here.
Definitely a few sides. We could have gone to Collingwood with their big comeback win again, a GWS win against Sydney as well, both close margins, but you can take it over from here, mate. We're going your team.
You want me to
We're
take
going
over?
that. We're going Port Adelaide. We watched this game together. We did, and you're up and about. That's a big win for Port.
I was up and about. I was also shitting myself. I wasn't happy at times through that game, and I'm sure I was an absolute pain in the ass to be around. But the boys got the chocolates. Huge game. It was a huge result. Horn Francis. What else can we say? He's copped his fair amount of shit this season for deserve it or not. I don't think so. A lot of people do, but he came to play, and I think it was 8 clearances in the first quarter. He really set the tone, and I mean, Port weren't exactly they didn't blow. They didn't come straight out of the gates. Absolutely not. But it was his influence, especially towards the last quarter, where I think he really came into his own and really drove Port home.
Oh, for sure. As soon as he improves his disposal efficiency as well, going to be an absolute gun player. But the other player who played really well, Travis Boak, the 30 disposals once again. Yeah.
35 years old.
Yeah,
But
incredible.
it's insane how he keeps on doing it. I mean, he'd been playing primarily wing, I think, for wing, but he hadn't really had the centre bounces like we were accustomed to seeing Boak have. And this week, he was given pretty much the license to really hunt the ball, and it paid off. I even said during when we were watching the game, Woke popped up at just the crucial times, and it was I think the leadership he showed in the middle that really shone when Port could have dropped the bundle and really let Saints back into it. He was there to steady the ship, and yeah, he turned back the clock. Absolutely.
Definitely the player you want to rely on when the game's in the balance. That's what you need from your leaders. Port looked fantastic. They did. Their pressure around the ball was insane. They lost nearly every stat on the books other than tackles, which you can read that two ways. Was their pressure up really high, which it was. It was a very high pressure game from them. But also they didn't have as much ball, so obviously they're going to tackle more. But it was pressure like football. It was very good from them. Well deserved for the hit. What's that? Eight wins at Marvel in a row now.
I had no idea about that. When I heard that stat, I thought that's got to be a joke. Like and the next best I'm pretty sure was Essendon at 2, something like that. Like how does an interstate team? Obviously they play there less. There's less chance to lose, I'd imagine, but an 8-game win streak at any away ground is. I don't know the stat behind that. It's probably something I should have looked. I should have looked at, considering I tend to be the stats guy here. But yeah, it's pretty remarkable, and it's something that they want to keep intact moving forward.
So for the next 4, from memory, I think I've got Essendon at home, North Melbourne away in Tassie, Melbourne at home,
Yeah,
and then Richmond at the G. How do you see Port going with those next 4?
I think they beat Essendon. Essendon accounted themselves pretty well against Geelong, but I think at home they'll be right. Marshall back. unfortunately, Jonas probably comes back, which is it's a bit of a
Hmm.
weak link. Um, yeah, I think they get that. Who was the second one? North
North.
at Tassie. That's a banana skin game.
Mhm.
That's the definition of one there. They should beat them even in Tassie, but it's Tassie.
Mhm.
They do play that ground really well. Uh, I in Port fashion, I think that's the one they lose.
Yeah, more than
I reckon
likely,
they,
knowing them.
yeah,
Mhm.
I reckon they're every chance to beat Melbourne and Adelaide.
Mhm.
They have matched up pretty well against them in the past. Uh, and Richmond, I don't know what to make of. We'll get to them soon, but
Yeah,
yeah,
let's hand over to Richmond now, eh?
yeah.
They're
I think this is a beautiful segue because
yeah.
yeah, they're in dire straits.
So they're our miss for the week. I think it was pretty convincing. We put up the like status on the YouTube channel for the viewers to vote who our miss should be, and convincingly it was Richmond. Deserved. They really deserve that, especially playing in Melbourne as well against Gold Coast. And didn't even look like winning at all. So
Yeah, I mean, there was a team being beaten by 108 points, which will the Eagles we won't touch on them too much. There was a team being beaten by 90 this week, but yet Richmond still come up with the miss. And this has been building. This isn't one. This isn't just a knee jerk reaction to to one game. It's been building. They were touted for such good things this season. And looking back and looking at the team now, I mean there are injuries, but yeah, maybe we didn't look deep enough. I don't know, but they have been disappointing. The midfield additions of Taranto and Hopper were meant to transform this team, but I suppose they're missing key positions at either end of the ground that could really help this team flourish.
obviously, like a Tom Lynch being out for so long, and I think he's still got
Mm.
minimum 6 weeks left until
It's a
he
long
may.
layoff.
Yeah, it players like that they rely on heavily. Taranto's probably their best player so far this season.
Oh, he's killing it.
He's probably winning their best and fairest been first season at Richmond. But outside of that, there's no one really doing much there. Um, Dusty is nowhere near as what he used to be. Obviously, Rewald's getting old, and like Cumberland, even last year he kicked. I can't remember the stat, but there was those 6 games or wherever where he kicked like 18 goals, or I can't remember
Mm.
the exact numbers, but like he doesn't look like that player what he was in that short period. Everyone thought he may bring that over to this season. He hasn't really done that. I don't know what's happening there. They're not making finals. I had them. I
No.
think Josh had them. We both had them nearly top 2 type team. They're
Mm.
easily top 4, pushing top 2, and they're not even making finals this year. There's way more teams better than them.
Oh yeah. I think I had them top four too. It was almost a consensus pick that they would be in or around the top four. And yeah, no, they're not making finals. Absolutely. Whether that's down to injuries or just a combination of other things. I mean, they're missing Tarrant. I think Gibcus hasn't played yet, um, and they were two big
Mm.
pillars down back there. So um, yeah, it's really hard that one. And yeah, against Gold Coast, they were. It seems like I don't. It's not a curse, but ever since Dimmer made that
Yeah.
the comment about Marvel Stadium,
So,
it rings true. They really don't like it. They really
no.
hate it. But I mean, you've got to travel. If this isn't the VFL anymore,
Yeah,
everyone's
exactly.
got to travel. You, they travel bugger all. They got to travel down the road. I mean,
Yeah,
it shouldn't
exactly.
matter that much. But for this team, Marvel Stadium seems to matter.
When you look at the stats of that game, Gold Coast had 32 more uncontested and 39 more marks. That just seems a lack of work rate when you look at it that way. From I didn't watch the game. I've watched a few highlights and stuff like that, but if I'm looking purely at stats, that's a work rate issue from Richmond. They're just not keeping up with this Gold Coast team on the outside, and that's a big issue if that's the problem.
Yeah, guys like I know Fiorini's usually played in the middle, but I think he spent time on a wing, racked up a few marks, even tackled. Noah Anderson, he's been huge lately. He's stepped up. Well, those two stepped up in Took Miller's
Mm.
absence. So yeah, a lot to like from Gold Coast there in terms of work rate. But yeah, Richmond poor across the board, and I think has a lot more needs to be done from the Tigers side. They're definitely lacking in a few areas.
Oh, most definitely. Anyway, that's it for our hits and misses. Leave a comment below if you agree, if you disagree. Give us shit if you think we're wrong. Whatever, we'll take it. It's a good laugh. So leave a comment, hit the like button, and make sure you subscribe. Thank you.